Hey everybody, hello. We're going to be doing some noses. Let me just show you some different types of noses. So I do a lot of bust cakes, and you know, a large part of getting a bust cake right is getting the proportion, is getting the anatomy right. So we're going to do a series of demos with Cake Deck, facial features, and we're breaking them down into nice 20-minute easy peasy chunks. So today we are going to be looking at noses, different types of noses. You can see, depending obviously on where you are from in the world, you will have a slightly different nose, a slightly different bridge shape, slightly different length, obviously different skin colors, different types of brow, all that kind of thing. So that's always something to, consider when you're doing noses. So before we start on the demo itself, I'm taking you all back to school. Yes, I am. So I want to just show you a little bit. In fact, let's bring my friend in here to show you. I just want to show you a little bit about the anatomy of the face, because in order to sculpt a good face, you need to sort of understand, this. And actually, the nose, interestingly enough, even though we always talk about broken noses and rugby players having broken noses, there aren't many bones at all. In fact, no bones at all in the nose. The bones come at the bridge here from the brow line. You've got a couple of small bones here. The rest, all that bit, all this is cartilage. Okay, and this is what gives people their distinct shape and their character, to show you the anatomy of the nose, right? So across there you've got the frontal bone, which is the brow that I was talking about, and the nasal bone and the maxillary bone, which come in right at the top. If you put your finger just here, you'll be able to feel that. That is the bridge of the nose, and the rest of this here is all cartilage, and that's what sort of forms around here. So let's
Alright, so let's get going with the nose, shall we? So I'm just going to start off with a block here. I've used candy clay. And so we can't really just talk about the nose in isolation. We have to understand the nose in relation to the brow and to the eyes and to the mouth. So I'm actually just going to roll an extra piece here across the top, which will kind of form my brow. It's all very rough at the moment. So whenever I start sculpting, it's always it's just rough basic shapes. So we just want to create a very basic triangle, which is going to be our nose shape. And I just want to put that, let's check that it's central, kind of is. So to begin with, we just want to get the shape into place. We don't need to worry too much about what it looks like, and if it looks right. So I just want to kind of smooth this in. Now obviously the eyes are here, so let's just talk a little bit, shall we, about the structure. Let's just talk a little bit about the structure of the nose. So this is our brow bone here. Tell you what, I've got long nails at the moment, and this is not easy with long nails. It is not good. Okay, so this is the brow bone, and this part here is the bridge of the nose. So this is where the brow bone and the bones, you've got 2 or 3 bones here that all kind of converge together. I'll just show you on this, see if you can see this. If you can see that, it's there. They all converge there. So the bone is here, and this generally is finer on women than it is on men. And depending on your ethnicity will also depend on how proud the nose is at this point. Okay, so let's just get that going. I'm just using a Dresden tool, and I'm using Sugar Street Studios candy clay for this, which is a modelling chocolate, and really modelling chocolate is the way forward for something like this. So let's go for a female nose, shall we? So what I want to do is just create a basic shape. Now this part of the nose here is the cartilage. The cartilage comes from the bone here and sort of wraps round, forming those nostrils. Now I'm just going to roll another piece here, which will be just when my lip point comes. And again, I'm not making lips, just doing the nose, but it is all attached. So really, as I say, what I want to do is just get that shape in. Now I'm going to go for a little female nose, so we want to make it quite delicate, I think. That's probably all right in profile. Might take a little bit off, but I think for the moment that will do us. Those nails again. Okay, so let's have a look now. So this part is the tip of the nose, this, or the apex of the nose. I'm not going to worry about nostrils yet. All I want to do is just shape the tip of this nose, and it is three-dimensional. It's and people's tips are different. Some people's hang lower. Some people have a very snub nose. I guess we want to go for a slightly upturned, pointy, cute little nose. You can play with that a little bit, but you do want to get the, you know, the basic shape in there if you can. Okay, that's looking pretty good, I think. I think I'm happy with my tip, my apex. I might come back in and tweak it if needs be. Okay, so in order to form the nostrils, we want to take our Dresden tool and we want to go in and we want to push. I'm coming in because it actually looks a little high. Just going to bring that down slightly. You want to take your Dresden and you want to make a hole and push up and back. You see that? Let's do that on the other side. Up and back. Nostrils are not completely round. They're more of a sort of teardrop or a seed shape, I suppose. So putting that in and just pulling that out is giving me that, can you see already it's giving me that slightly angled shape. Now nostrils are slightly angled. I'm just going to cut away a little bit here. You can see that. They are slightly angled, and we're going for a sort of cute feminine face here. So I don't need to exaggerate them or make them super crazy. And what you can do, if you want to pull the tip of your nose forward, you can get your, and just pull that forward, and that will bring the tip of the nose forward ever so slightly. Let's just even up the other side. So you want to go in with your Dresden and just mark out the wings of the nostril. I'm just going to cut away a little bit like I did on the other side. And again, that's quite a nice feminine shape when it goes back like that. Oh, there we go. Look at that in profile. I'm liking the look of that. So I think that's a pretty classic nose. So you can see the bridge is quite straight. Some people have slimmer bridges. You could come in, make that slightly slimmer at the top. Okay. So what I do want to do is just finesse this slightly. Kind of make sure as well that my nostrils are even. I quite like that being pulled down a little bit more. There we go. I think we've got a slightly nicer shape there going on for our lady. Just smooth the insides there. Now look, I'm a little bit wonky here. What have I done? Let's just try and even myself up. Now, underneath the nose here, this part here is called the philtrum. And this is the bit that joins the bottom of the nose to where the lips are. Now we're not going to do lips today, but this part is quite important. And how deep this is really does depend on the person. So again, we're just going to use the edge of the Dresden here. Just push in for the philtrum. There we go. A nice little delicate little nose now. Make sure, look at it from all angles as well. Definitely want to look at it, you know, from the side. We'll trim all this up so that it's not distracting. Oops. That's the problem with the chocolate. When it's a bit warm, you can knock it out of shape. So there's your philtrum. That is it, really. Now, this is, I'll sort of say that this is part of the side of the nose, which is here. You notice that people have people have a line that comes down from their nostril and normally meets their mouth, sort of here, like that. I'll make it a little, I'll make it pronounced so that you can see it. There we go. One nose.
I'm going to pause it there because there's some questions coming through which I want to answer about colorings and about the fact that I was sort of, you know, working on the nose in that way. So let me just show you. Let me just show you this picture. So this is a bust cake. So what I showed you just then is how I would create a nose for a bust cake like this. However, I do not do it off the cake. So I've just shown it to you as an element today. When I'm sculpting a face, I will have a whole sort of mask of modeling chocolate, and then I will go in and hollow out my eyes, and then I will start working on the nose. But I will do it and I will shape it in that way, like I showed you, starting with the bridge, working out the width of my nose, the shape of it here. We're going to do a different type of nose in a minute, and I'll talk you through it. It's got slightly different shaping to it, but I work the same way down, looking at the apex, then do the nostrils, deciding this bit here. It's called the septum. You know, some people get them pierced there, which is where you can sort of pull that down if you want to. And then finally with the philtrum. So if you're doing it on a face, you will actually do it on the face itself. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about colours. Judy was asking about the colours that I use. So what I'm making at the moment is coloured with chocolate. So that was a Magic Colours chocolate, which I just kneaded into the candy clay. For the Caucasian skin tone, I used Magic Colours Skin Tone, it's called. And for the slightly darker tone to the top left that you can see there, I used the Skin Tone and then put in a tiny drop of chocolate just to make it slightly darker. So just showing you on this video here. So I'm doing a female nose, a beautiful black nose. Now that has a much wider bridge. So when I rolled my triangle, I rolled a much wider, flatter triangle to start with. And I didn't protrude the nose so much. And actually you can see there that I actually just trimmed a little bit away with my knife because I wanted it fairly shallow. So that was the difference. Once I've got my shape, I'm doing the same thing. I'm pushing in and going in with that Dresden to create the nostrils. So in and out, we'll pull the nostril, and you want to make sure that you're pushing down underneath the nostril so that it comes and joins underneath that lip area nice and neatly. If you want to pull out the septum at that tip slightly, you just put your Dresden, that's what I'm looking for, Dresden tool in, and just pull that down. And in the same way, remember the nostrils are slightly angled. Sometimes it can look a little bit heavy if the nostrils are too thick and too low. So especially with a female nose, you want to cut away at that angle. So even though this is a wider nose and a shallower nose, I'm still using the same principles there. It's a little bit darker to see with this darker color, but hopefully you can get the idea. There we go. Don't be frightened to slice off, by the way. And this is the fantastic thing about the candy clay or any modeling chocolate, is that you can add on and take away as you go, and that's why it's called a clay. So the methods that I use are very much clay sculpting methods, and it's the same principle as if you were going to be sculpting out of clay. But even though this is speeded up, this took about 12 minutes to make that nose. But I really hope that you enjoyed that. It was really lovely to see you. Slightly sweaty, I have to be honest. My noses here are, they literally, if I put my finger through them, I think they just go straight through. It is so hot. It is so hot here. But lovely to see you all, and I hope to catch you all soon. Bye.